go. Hey, Mr. Fraley, nice talking to you, and thank you for taking the time talking to us.
My pleasure. You know, I used to be a whiz at computers, but you know, as I got older, my memory isn't what it used to be. And it is good either.
That's rock and roll. Well, congratulations to your record, to your new one. It's a blast. It's very much fun to listen to. How difficult was it for you to write it? Did it take you a long time, or did it just come like this?
I write songs in a half an hour. Don't ask me how I do it. Steve brought me part of the music for 10,000 Volts. And I wrote the bridge, and I rewrote 90% of the lyrics.
All right.
In about half an hour, 45 minutes. You know, everybody thinks that, you know, my lyrics have this deep meaning or alternate meaning. And pretty much I just strive for words that rhyme.
But we have to talk about some lyrics, though.
Yeah, they have to rhyme, but they have to make sense.
You know, on this record, there's a whole variety of music. I mean, you're hard rocking, but I've never heard you so romantic as on Back Into My Arms Again.
Yeah, that was exciting. I was working, you know, I have a studio in my basement, as you can see. And Steve has a studio in his basement. Steve Brown, my co-producer and co-writer on most of these songs.
Yeah.
And I was at Steve's studio, and we had YouTube up, and all of a sudden we were going through Ace Frehley's stuff, and all of a sudden he saw Back Into My Arms Again, the demo, and we listened to it. He goes, Jesus Christ, that's a great song. He goes, have you ever recorded it on a record? I go, no. I wrote it 40 years ago. I forgot about it. It just, we just listened to the demo. You know, I remember all the chord work and stuff and the solo. Yeah, we did it in a day. And then, of course, Steve did some overdubs with keyboards and stuff with some of his people.
So how long actually did it take you to make the record?
Well, the record actually took about 13 months, but I didn't bring Steve in until about 6-7 months ago. And he helped expedite the process because for some reason when me and Steve get together, magic happens. Just like the original 4 members of KISS, there was a definite chemistry that nobody can really describe or put into words. It was just there. Even though we were 4 different people from 4 different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Same thing with me and Steve. The minute we got together, everything just started clicking. I inspired him. He inspired me. You know, if I couldn't find a word for a line, he'd come up with it, vice versa. You know, but I wrote most of the lyrics.
We have to talk about one song, and it's Blinded. It's Blinded by Science and Blinded by Fear.
Yeah.
That is very accurate, actually.
That song, oh, you've heard the whole record?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I was reviewing all the songs on the record, and I said to Steve, you know, most of the songs are about girls, which isn't really, you know, it's pretty normal for a rock, you know, songwriter to write about women. But, you know, I said, we got to change some of the subject matter. So I said, you know, recently I've been reading about AI and the dangers of artificial intelligence. And pretty much if you listen to the lyrics for Blinded, it's really about AI.
Are you afraid of that?
Did you get that out of the lyrics?
Yes, I sort of did. Mm-hmm. It can help you, you know, but it can destroy a lot of things. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've read several articles, and about 40% of the scientists and CEOs think within 5 to 10 years there's a good chance the AI could take us out once it becomes self-aware.
Okay. Well,
that's a whole different show.
Yeah. I guess you're right. What was the hardest song to finish on this record for you?
The hardest song was Walking on the Moon was the first song me and him collaborated with, and that was actually going to be the title track.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be the second single. And that one we changed around a lot. You were just talking about Blinded previously. We recorded that song, and then I woke up in the morning and I had this idea to sing the chorus a cappella prior to the song coming in. Mm-hmm. And I told Steve, and he said, "That's a great idea." I went over his house. We just isolated the vocals and put them in the front of the song and cut and pasted it in Pro Tools, and voila.
I have to ask you something about the Origins Volume 2, the previous record you did, because I was kind of surprised that you did another record full of songs that inspired you, because the first one was a thrill and perfect, and the second one is too. But I thought I was just wondering why you did it, why you put out a second record like this.
Well, I'm actually supposed to put out a third. In my record contract, it's slated for Origins Volume 3 as my next record. Because actually, Origins 1 and Origins 2 have been successful records.
Yeah.
And the whole concept behind the Origins series is that I re-record songs from bands that influenced me when I was a teenager and a young kid, going into my 20s. And pretty much if you listen to the songs, they're all, Led Zeppelin and you have the song titles in front of you. I can't remember. I don't know what I did yesterday. So talking about something I recorded over a year ago. No, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So there's another one coming up.
We're supposed to do an Origins Volume 3. Now the record company's talking about maybe doing a live album instead. And okay. I've been kicking around the idea, but the problem with doing a live album in 2024 is everybody records the shows with their phones.
Yeah.
Right? So, what's special about a live album? Except for, the packaging and the artwork, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But, it's a live show. Everybody, so many people post my concerts on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, the record company saying you can take it into the studio and overdub stuff and fix this and fix that. I said, well, if I do that, the fans are going to hear the difference because they're going to have a pre-recorded show on their phone, and then they're going to hear the record, and it's not going to match up. So there's a problem there. Everybody makes mistakes live.
Yeah, well, that's the live feeling, I guess. The record is called 10,000 Volts.
Right.
And I remember when you played with Kiss a long time ago, you got struck by an electric shock right during the microphone.
I got electrocuted in Lakeland, Florida in, I think, 78. And,
did it come back to your mind when you choose the record title? You go like, 10,000 volts, that's what it is.
Well, what made us choose 10,000 volts is we thought it was a better opening track than Walking on the Moon, even though I love Walking on the Moon.
Yeah.
It just seemed a more exciting opening track. it's the kind of track it kind of hits you over the head. Whereas Walking on the Moon is a slightly slower tempo. I mean, you've heard it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's a strong second single. And I think that's the plan. And the third single we want to do prior to the release of the album in February, on February 23rd, is Cherry Medicine.
Yeah, good choice.
And what?
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's cool.
This is my studio. I love it. I designed it. I was the architect. I did everything.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's like a spaceship a little.
The concept of space and everything, and you being the spaceman Kiss, it will never leave you, would it?
See my little astronaut over there?
Yeah.
I found him in a store like a year ago. I just said I gotta put that in my control room. Now outside this door is a stage, with drums, guitar amps, bass, and on the other side of this wall is a drum room that's isolated and soundproof, so you can record drums or guitars without even you can't hear them through the wall because it's we've got this special sheetrock that has lead in the middle of it. And we double walled it with a 4-inch space of air.
All right.
So the bass doesn't travel through. So, I mean, it's a room within a room. It's a soundproof room, and it's pretty cool to have that.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of a stage, the last time you played Munich was in 2009. The last time you played in Germany was 2015.
I know. It's killing me that I haven't come over to Europe.
You should.
No, I want to. But, unfortunately, I have some legal issues with the IRS and my passport. So I really don't say anything more than that, but that's the true reason. I haven't been over to Europe because I don't have a passport.
Oh, okay.
And
that's really bad, actually. We would love to have you here.
I'm dying to go to Europe. My agent called me up a couple of months ago and he said, "Hey, I can make you over, $750,000 playing all the festivals next year in Europe." I go, "Yeah, but I got to get my passport back, So I got accountants and tax attorneys working around the clock on trying to expedite that. So hopefully, I may be in Europe next summer."
Nice one. I hope so too. Are you actually happy that the whole Kiss thing is over now and you don't have to answer questions anymore?
I'm happy it's over because I'm not going to be compared to them anymore.
Yeah.
Man, the world is congratulating me on my single. But my phone never stops ringing. But I don't get this Avatar thing that they're going to do.
Yeah.
I saw some of it on a video on YouTube last night, and it kind of looked like it was, geared towards children.
Yeah.
And it's not rock and roll. No. I get up on stage without backing tracks, plug my guitar into a Marshall and go. That's it. It's always been that way and it always will be.
Have you actually watched the last show?
I watched Indianapolis and I'm not impressed, but that's me. Tommy Thayer is not a bad guitarist. He just is more mechanical than me.
Mm.
Nobody can copy my solos the way I play them, because I'm sloppy and I got what I needed. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Nobody can move like me. Nobody,
Yeah.
He looks like me. And I'm surprised the fans bought Tommy, pretty much because I think for several years that Tommy was in the band, people didn't even know it wasn't me. I used to get phone calls from people and say, hey, Kiss is playing in town. Can you get me tickets? I go, I'm not in the band anymore. They go, you're not? Because, when I quit the band the second time, they did not make a big press release. They kind of buried it, and just made the transition. Yeah, but I mean, last tour I did with Kiss, Tommy Thayer was bringing me sandwiches, and he was a tour manager and golfer. I mean, but he's not a bad guitar player. I'm actually friends with Tommy,
Okay.
Just all the guys in the band, I'm good friends with Eric Singer, Me and Gene are very close. When Gene put out his Vault Experience, I went on the road with him. I went to Australia with him. Before we made it really big, me and Gene used to room together. So
yeah,
Gene has a soft spot in his heart for me.
But I'm wondering, is there going to be a sort of the end of the road tour from Ace Frehley? Certain point of time.
I live day by day. I don't plan ahead. I never have. And I like spontaneity. It's like when I record a guitar solo. I have no idea what I'm going to play. I try to empty my head. As long as I know what key it's in, I just start playing solos. And the engineer records, 5 or 6 of them. And then we pick the best parts. Sometimes I get it from beginning to end perfectly. But if there's a bad note, we just take it from a different take and replace it. It's real easy with Pro Tools. But I was reading articles and people said Ace is auto-tuning his vocals on this record. That's a complete falsehood. That's me singing on key.
Yeah.
My voice is stronger now than it's ever been. And the proof is in the pudding when you hear me live, I still can belt it out.
There's no doubt about that. Did you?
Well, not according to Paul and Gene, but I think that deep down inside they're jealous of me, and they always were. So
it's strange. It's a weird relationship between you guys.
Obvious. If you really go back, I mean, first of all, think back 6-7 months ago.
Yeah,
they were inviting us publicly to play at the Garden.
Yeah,
both of them in interviews. Then the last month they trashed me and Peter and said we can't play. If we got up on stage with them, you might as well call the band Piss. That's what really pissed me off. And I went on the Eddie Trunk show and gave him some shit for that. But those guys try to rewrite history all the time. I have no idea. I don't get this Avatar thing. And I wish them well with it, because I'm going to get money if they do it. I still get paid on my makeup.
Have you actually talked to Peter Criss about that?
Peter sold his makeup.
No, about the last shows and being invited and being not invited anymore and all this kind of craziness.
They said in the press they invited me and Peter, but I never got a phone call. Peter never got a phone call. It was bullshit. So, I just let it roll off my back. I do my thing. I'm at my new single is almost at 400,000 views on YouTube in 8 days.
Yep.
Over 3,000 comments, mostly all positive. So I have nothing to complain about and nothing to worry about. At least they're out of the way now. You know, I mean, this Avatar thing. I don't know how they're going to present it on a big screen or what. I don't know. I saw the video. You know, they're recording some stuff with dots on their face. You know, like in the movie Avatar.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the whole thing's pretty silly, and it's definitely not real rock and roll. So, but some Kiss fans might find it fun. So, yeah, a lot of Kiss fans are crazy. You know, I mean, Paul and Ginny have been doing the same set for the last 5-10 years. They haven't put an album in almost 20 years.
Yeah.
No new music. I put out, 5 or 6 records? You know, I don't get it. But the fans seem to, just, and most of the songs they play, most of the guitar solos that Tommy plays, not all, but most of them are solos that I wrote. And he tries to play them note for note. And that's the only thing that bothers me a little because, then they uninvited me.
Yeah.
So, who the hell knows what they're going to do next? I don't know. For all I know, in 6 months, I might get a call from Gene and he's going to want to start a band with me. Who the hell knows? I just live life one day at a time. I really have a good feeling about this album. You've heard it. I think it's one of the best albums I've ever recorded.
It is.
I'm dying to get the reaction from the fans.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. It's going to be out in February, I guess.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be killer. But what is really interesting is that almost with each song on the record, you kind of drift musically along into certain varieties. Sometimes you sound a little bluesy. Sometimes you sound hard rocking. And sometimes you sound just, almost like it's not pop music, but it's very, very light music for Ace Frehley.
I'll tell you something you probably don't know. The song over 10 years ago, believe it or not, that song is played over the credits of that movie Transporter with Jason Statham.
Oh.
And that was at least 10 years ago, the first Transporter film.
Yeah.
I forgot the melody of that song. And when it came to record this record, I played the original track for Steve. And I said, Steve, we could do this really heavy with keyboards and power chords. I could do a great solo, a good opening solo. And he said, yeah, I love the song. It modulates twice the chorus. But, I said to Steve, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sing that, 2 modulations. He goes, you will. I'll coach you. And I pulled it off.
You did. But you also sound a little bluesy, as far as I could hear.
I was always a blues-based guitarist. I was, I idolized Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, all blues-based guitar players. Even Hendrix.
Yeah.
And I was a huge fan of The Who. And I actually cut school and I went to see The Who and the Cream opening up for Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels in mid-Manhattan when I was 15 years old. And it changed my life, and I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Because their albums were just coming out. And completely blew me away. And it made me... But at the same time, I said to myself, listening to them, I could get up there and do that.
You did.
That's what I can do. I'd be able to do that. I know, Look, God gave me talent. He gave me the artistic talent. I helped design the record cover.
Yeah.
Up until last night, I was doing Photoshop on the inside of the cover and fixing things, sending them back to the record company. Now, because I had Photoshop 1.0, like 25, 30 years ago. And, I have about 12 computers here in my house.
Oh.
So computers are second nature for me. And I'm a graphic artist as well. So God gave me many talents. And I think one of the reasons God kept me alive is I got sober 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been influencing fans in a positive way. In the old days, in the 70s, fans used to go out and get loaded and try to live the life that I was living, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But, eventually it caught up to me. But, now when I have meet and greets and fans come backstage, they have AA coins, and they go, I got 5 years all because of you. And that really warms my heart and makes me realize, I think I'm up there and God kept me alive for a purpose. Not only do I make people happy, but I've been getting people sober by my example. And that just warms my heart and makes me want to play more and play harder and just do the best I can at everything I do.
Over the years, did your perception of playing guitar change?
Never.
Okay.
Does this record sound the same? I'm playing the same style I played on my 78 solo record, but the production is upgraded. Now with Pro Tools, when I worked with Eddie Kramer on my 78 solo record and we did New York Groove, which was my biggest hit so far, but I may surpass that, with this record, hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And we used to cut tape with razor blades and have to, if we wanted to make an edit, we used 2-inch tape, 24-track machines. Sometimes we'd use 2 machines and link them up together. We'd sync them up and use the second machine just to do overdubs. But it was a lot more work and was painstaking. Now you want to, you decide you want to do an edit on a song.
Yeah.
It's a click of a mouse.
Yeah, that's true. You had a period in time briefly where you were playing under the name Frehley's Comets.
Yeah, that didn't work. What happened invariably is on the marquees of all the concert halls I was playing, 80 to 90% of them said Ace Frehley's Comet. Okay. And I wanted to keep the band called Frehley's Comet because I wanted a band feel. I always liked the brotherhood, and the camaraderie of being in a band with other people. But, coming, I just quit a super group and I forgot that I'm world famous internationally. And the guys I was playing with weren't. So
okay,
that was an issue. So eventually I just changed it over to the Ace Frehley Band. Nobody has a problem with that at this juncture.
Do you have a band now, a steady one?
The band that's in the video is my touring band.
All right.
They didn't really play on the record. I cannot tell why. But they're learning the songs now. My guitar player, Jeremy, he already figured out 10,000 volts and he's working on Walking on the Moon and Cherry Medicine because we got to do some of these songs live. They're just too good not to.
Exactly. So if there's one thing, if there's one thing that you could actually go back in time and change.
Control freaks, they never give me credit, in the studio when we were recording, I never get the pat on the back and say, great solo, Ace. It's just say, okay, let's move on to the next one. That's the way it was. I never got the credit that I deserve from those guys, and even to this day, they really don't like to talk much about me. And when they do, they don't have nice things to say most of the time, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, I have no more further questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much for taking the time and talking to us. Really cool. Really nice record. We love everything. We want to have you over here. Work on your passport, sir.
Where are you? You're in Germany?
Yes, I am in Munich, Germany.
I love Munich. I remember I bought that big beer stein there one day. And, in my heritage, I'm German and Dutch.
Oh, okay.
And I'm part Cherokee Indian.
Oh, okay.
Mostly German, because I have German on my mother's side and German on my father's side. So
nice. Yeah, you should be back.
My last name isn't really spelled the way my grandfather spelled it.
All right.
But yeah, I got to go on to the next interview. I'm already over 10 minutes.
Sorry about that.
See you, Thomas.
No, it's a pleasure talking to you. See you soon.
Okay, bye.